Hey, 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 hey. Welcome everyone to Bad Film Good, the podcast where we look at poorly rated movies and ask the question, is this bad film good? My name is Declan.
I'm Aidan.
That was smooth. You just slipped it right in. I didn't even tell that I'd finished talking, and you just slipped it right in there.
I just want everyone to know.
Yeah. Right, well, tell us, Aidan, what's been going on with you this week before we get into things?
Yeah, I've been good. I read an article actually which upset me. I've never felt like a personal attack really with articles and stuff you see on the internet. But this really hit home. It's called
Aidan, the worst person to ever podcast.
Yeah, and I went, oh.
You were like, I haven't even...
I'm stunned. No, this article is on The Guardian. It's by a guy called Scott Tobias. Remember that name, because I'm going to go get him.
Remember that, it's going to be etched into my... burned into my memory, yeah.
But it says, Shrek at 20, an unfunny and overrated low for blockbuster animation. How dare you?
The audacity.
The audacity.
What was his name again? I forgot.
Scott Tobias. I'm going to write that down for later.
Yeah. Who does he think he is?
It says some of the stuff is like... I mean, this article just seems like he worked on Shrek and got fired, and now he's just got a vendetta against it. It's like...
he like sees any like Shrek-shaped... That's the tongue twister. Shrek-shaped things, and he's like, that bastard.
Yeah.
That goddamn bastard.
Yeah, the tagline is the fairy tale comedy that was a hit with critics and audiences, but its toilet humour, glibness, never heard that before, and shoddy animation mark it out as a misfire.
Wait, shoddy animation?
The animation's good.
20 years ago?
Yeah, it's 20 years old, 2001. And honestly, you wouldn't know. I watch it probably once every year. And
it's a tradition.
Yeah. Honestly, it's good, especially considering how old it is.
I mean, obviously, the reason everybody loves Shrek.
Yeah. But this guy doesn't.
Memes aside,
apart
from Scott, yeah.
He said, Shrek is a terrible movie. It's not funny. It looks awful. It would influence many unfunny, awful-looking computer-animated comedies that copied its formula. 3 of those terrible movies were sequels to Shrek, and one was a spin-off with a sequel in the works. The curse has been eased, but not lifted. What is with this guy?
I tell you what, it sounds like Shrek stole this guy's girlfriend.
Yeah, literally.
But like somebody like dressed up as Shrek in a... Oh, brilliant.
No, he used to date Fiona. And then Shrek's like, hey, Fiona, you want to come out with me, get a coffee or something? And then she's like, yes. And then this guy, what's his name? Scott Tobias is like, no!
He's like, curse you, Shrek!
Yeah.
You will rue the day that you messed with me, Scott.
But then it kind of sent me on like a spiral, because then it got me interested in
Shreknado.
Yeah. It got me interested in like other articles about Shrek, and to me, because it's 20 years of Shrek, so I was like, there must be a couple others. There are thousands of Shrek articles, and not just because it's 20 years old. They're about anything. This one that made me laugh.
So wait, are these all like recent, or are these like 20 years of Shrek articles?
Yeah, this one currently is 18th of May 2021. So still, people are posting about Shrek and they love it.
Yeah, they're really going for the anniversary. Yeah.
This one says Shrek didn't. This is the title of the article. Right. Shrek didn't chicken out on its donkey dragon sex. There's a whole article about donkey and dragons having sex. It says, the Shrek franchise dares to do what many animated films would not. From a female lead...
They don't show it.
Yeah, it's not like a hardcore porn.
They watched the wrong Shrek. They were like, I pirated a version of Shrek off of
let me tell
website.
You, props to him. They showed everything.
Yeah. It's just the Shrek film with some like bad kind of homemade 3D Shrek porn like spliced in.
It says the Shrek franchise dared to do what many animated films would not. From a female lead that was unconventionally pretty to the boatload of cynical and adult pop culture references. But right now, I want to talk about one of Shrek's most groundbreaking offerings to the world of all ages animation. The fact that Donkey and Dragon absolutely fucked.
Brilliant.
There's loads of them. There's loads of... I mean, this if you want to know what this article it's called, it's on Polygon, and just type in Shrek didn't chicken out on its donkey dragon sex, and you can read the article.
Yeah, give that a good read.
Yeah, it's worth the read. Not very long, but definitely worth it.
Better than anything Scott would write, you know?
Yeah, that bastard.
That bastard. So for our very first episode of our podcast, we're going to be talking about a film that is very near and dear to both of our hearts, I believe. Because Aidan and I both love bad films. Like, bad films that you can kind of enjoy, you know, bad films that...
Bad film good.
Well, bad film good. That's you could just summarize it like that, really.
Yeah.
And, so we're going to be looking at a film called The Third Eye, which is an Indonesian horror film. Don't know why I put emphasis on in there for some reason. Rather than out Indonesian. This is hip, this is in. This is an Indonesian horror film, which... It's got a lot of twists and turns, a lot of surprises in store. And, let's have a look at what Netflix has to say to give you a little idea about what this is about. And I'll do my film voice.
Yeah, do it.
Just to spice it up a little bit. If I can have a quiet please in the back. Thank you. When her little sister claims she sees the dead, Alia consults a psychic who opens her eyes to the vengeful ghosts haunting their childhood home.
That sounds like...
What do you think about that? Does not sound what I think about the film.
No, that sounds completely different. That sounds like a different film than the one we watched.
Well, tell us about the film. What exactly happens in this glorious piece of work?
For anyone that hasn't seen this film, I mean, I can't imagine why anyone hasn't seen it.
Yeah, it's like the top seen film in the world.
Yeah.
Look it up.
It's Indonesian, not Outdonesian.
Yeah, come on.
But so basically, there's a little girl called Abel. She can see dead people. She's not Bruce Willis. She's different.
She's not the kid in that film either.
Yeah. She's completely different. Don't worry about it. But basically,
not even the same.
She can see dead people, but no one believes her, especially not her sister, Aaliyah. Until a ghost scratches Abel's legs, and it's very scary.
Yeah.
Then they grow up. It's like 10 years later. Aaliyah's having a coffee with her boyfriend Davin. In brackets, I put him very sexy. Because he's very sexy indeed.
Oh, we'll get into that later. Sorry, I'm just compose ourselves. Carry on.
Then she gets a phone call or something that her parents died in a car crash, so they have to move back to the house they used to live in, the one where Abel gets her leg scratched up. Then weird shit keeps happening, so Aaliyah gets her third eye opened, hence the name, by someone called Mace Windu or something.
Yeah, I was going to make that joke. He did it. He took it.
So she gets her third eye open so she can see what's occurring. Then Aaliyah... Then Aaliyah gets possessed and kills the gardener, because it turns out he killed the family that lived there previously, and that's why the house was being haunted. And that's why
they're all like haunting it. Yeah.
Then Abel gets possessed for banter, but for some reason she's trapped in the spirit world. I think it's because... I can't remember why.
I've made thorough notes.
Okay, very good, because I was a bit confused about it.
Yeah, there's many rules. There are so many rules to this. We'll get into it.
So Aaliyah has to go into the spirit world to get her. But before they do that, it's revealed that Davin was a ghost the whole time.
Your boy Davin.
And your boy, sexy Gavin. Gavin?
Gavin. Gavin's his twin brother.
Yeah. He comes in at the end.
Davin and Gavin. Gavin's the one that's actually alive.
Gavin and Stacey. And then they go to Wales. No, sorry.
Davin and Lacey. I don't know if I carry on.
Brilliant. Yeah, so it's revealed he's a ghost, and he has to go with Aaliyah so that spirits can't smell her or something.
Oh, yeah, we'll get... This is the rules thing I'm talking about. We'll get to that.
Yeah, then they save Abel. Davin lays to rest, and then the film ends on a bit of a cliffhanger because Abel and Aaliyah have gone to talk to some more dead people.
Yeah, they're doing like a supernatural thing, you know, going around saving people, hunting ghosts.
Yeah.
Except not really.
Except not really. Yeah. That's kind of it. So, Third Eye, or Matabatin, is the Indian...
You probably massacred the pronunciation of that.
Yeah, absolutely. 2017... Directed by Rocky Sorora, which is a brilliant name.
Yeah.
Stars a bunch of people you've never heard of. Sorry.
But I'm sure maybe they're big in Indonesia.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure.
Jessica Miller, Denny Samago.
That's who plays... Is that Davin?
He's Davin. That's the only one you want to pay attention to.
That's the one I want to know. Yeah.
Denny Samago. And Citra Primer. Optimus Primus Mace Windu.
Autobots, we need to open our third eye.
Roll out.
Roll out.
Yeah.
Roll out that eye. You're going to see a lot of things.
Yeah, it's got a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb, 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, so not great.
Yeah, that's why it's earned a place on this, poorly reviewed.
Yeah.
Because 5.5 isn't, it's not good for IMDb, like...
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
But anything below 6 is real rough, I would say.
Rough ground, yeah.
But yeah, if you... Alright, well, I don't have a budget for this, because I couldn't find it. But imagine I did have a budget, and I was the producer of this film.
Right, okay.
What would you do to pitch it to me? To have me make it?
You want me to pitch it right now?
Yeah, pitch me this right now.
Okay, so, you thought there were 2 eyes, but what if I told you there were 3? Yes, that's right. We have 2 sisters, one very sexy man, and some sort of strange voodoo witch who can kind of do anything with just lots of gestures and a bit of smoke and a blindfold. That's right. It's the third eye, where ghosts are scary, but they really just kind of chilling. And I think they just need help. That's pretty much it. They're just mean to people and they need help. I don't know why people are evil. You better strap in, because it's going to be a funky ride. That's the pitch.
I'm sold. You've got all my money.
Yeah.
You've got all my undisclosed fee.
Yeah, the undisclosed. I'm surprised you couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I really tried, but nothing came up. But all right. Look, should we get into it? Should we talk about some...
let's talk about all the stupid things, the amazing stupid things that happen in this. I want to start by just looking at the poster. I mean, when we first watched this film, we realized that, so you've got the third eye, right? And then you've got the Third Eye 2, which is a brilliant name. And that also ends on a cliffhanger. Maybe we'll look at that at some other point. You know, we'll come back around to that film. Do that in another episode, for a Hallmark episode, maybe. But that ends on a cliffhanger as well. So there's going to be a Third Eye 3, which is just a perfect name, because it doesn't say the third eye like all with words. Like third is a 3RD kind of thing. It's just like the third eye.
What they should do
with a number on the end is just weird.
What they should do is the Third Eye 3, but all of the E's are changed to 3. So it's TH3, 3RD, 3Y3, 3.
Yeah. The only thing that isn't a 3 is the bit that was a 3 before. The third eye. Yeah. She's got 3 hands, 3 eyes.
Yeah,
because the poster is like her covering her hands with her. Like two hands are covering her eyes. She's got like an eye coming out of her mouth. It's very weird.
And then
she's got one eye in the poster, really.
And then the third poster is just with another arm coming from somewhere, like covering her mouth.
Covering the mouth. Yeah. She's got eyes coming out of her forehead or something instead. Just more hands trying to cover all the eyes.
Yeah. The first thing that happens in this that I made a note of is no one believes Abel. And it's fine to, when a kid says, like...
It's a horror film kind of thing, right?
It's like, shut up. But she's saying, like, really creepy shit. She's like, if I don't listen to music, I'll hear the voices. And everyone's like,
yeah,
okay.
Everyone's like, go to bed now.
Yeah.
Go to bed now. And we find out later as well, like towards the end of the film, when they kind of do a whole bunch of exposition-y flashbacks and all this kind of stuff.
They really do, yeah.
But we find out that she was having all these sorts of issues in school and stuff. Like she was seeing people and whatever, and they really brush it off. Like her sister does this all the time, where she's just like, "You see things all the time, like stop being silly." I'm like, really? She said she took her to a psychologist and stuff, but yeah, they're really kind of dismissive of it because she starts in the garden, right? Or when we first see the sister.
Yeah, we first see it in the garden, staring at a tree.
It's like 2 seconds into the film.
Yeah,
you know, normally in horror films, you've got the beginning bit, which is kind of, you know, I don't know, a family move into a house or whatever, and it's kind of the nice, cheery, sunny kind of stuff that's nice and normal to begin with, and then you start getting the creepy stuff, and you know that it's only downhill from there, and it's just going to get creepier and creepier. This film cuts out all of that. It just 2 seconds into the film, you've got a little girl stood there still, staring at a tree, saying that there's someone behind it, and the music going like, yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, like, props to it because, you know, it's.
I mean, hell yeah.
Yeah, you got those tropes of just being like, we are a happy family, ha 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 ha, and then scary, everything's scary. Yeah, but this, you're right.
Yeah, they waste no time. They just go straight into it. I counted it out, or I mean, you know, I looked at the time on Netflix, and it says the first jump scare was at 4 minutes in.
Damn.
Like none of the kind of happy horror thing or whatever. Just straight away, she's the older sister. What's her name? Alea. I've written it so many times in my notes. How do I not remember her name? Alea. Alea, probably
something.
It's something. She's called something. She has a name, but it's that beginning bit where she kind of. She's in the house. She sees some like dude limp by. Like this, he clearly looks like a zombie. He's got bits and pieces missing off of him. He's limping through to her sister's bedroom, and then there's all screaming and all this kind of stuff. And like you said, when they managed to break in there, I mean, her sister's all scratched up and everything. But I thought it was really funny because they do that thing where it's done for the purpose of the film, but if you imagine it happening in real life, it'd be weird because when they get in there and they're kind of. The daughter's okay. The dad kind of checks around the room quickly, make sure there's nobody in there, and because Aaliyah, whatever, was there first, he turns to her and he's like, "What did you see? A person? A burglar?" And I was like, "What do you like? A burglar? Was it a crackhead? Was he looking for drugs? Was he more of an opportunist sort of break-in?
Did he tell you his name?
Yeah. Did he have a social security number on him? Like it was so weird. It was like, what did you see? Like yeah."
What did he look like? What color was his eyes?
Yeah, exactly. Could you see the blue of his eyes?
Oh yeah.
I just thought, it very much sets the tone, I think, for the rest of the film.
And then
they don't mess around.
Well, it's funny because like straight after that, it's like dun dun dun, and then it's like 10 years later, or 15 years later, or however, like, and it's just like this coffee shop.
She has no coffee in that cup, by the way. Like you can tell. I mean, I know it's like a difficult thing, and normally they have like weights or something in the cup to try and mimic it, but she just like touches that cup with her lips, and she's like, that's some good cup of Joe right there. That's some good coffee," and just puts it down.
But
nothing. Didn't drink a thing.
But we're in this cafe, and she sat there doing work, and then it turns out that Davin's in there. He sends over a drink, which, look, we'll get to this. We'll come back to this scene later.
Well, this is a very key, important scene for us both.
But he sends over a drink, and she's like, "Oh, who from? I didn't order this." And then he points to David, and he's like, "Haha." But then he says...
Yeah, the waiter guy points to him.
Yeah. But then he says, "I've been sat there for 20 minutes." She didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
She didn't notice him staring at her for 20 minutes. He also like didn't just go in straight away and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna order a drink, but can you send it to there?" He sat down for a good amount of time, just like, "Oh, she's still not noticing me. This is awkward."
He's kind of doing that thing where you try and catch the eye and then they don't look.
Yeah.
And then you kind of look up at them and then you look away and they look up and you go to look up at them, but they've already looked away again. You're like, shit.
And he doesn't want to be awkward. He's like trying to like do the wave, but he doesn't want to draw attention to himself because everyone starts staring at him like, "Ooh, what a weirdo." So he's just like,
he's trying to chat up this girl
Elliot,
across the way.
Elliot.
And everyone goes quiet. He's like, Elliot! Everyone looks at you, he's like, sorry, carry on. No, I mean, of course, Davin wouldn't do anything like this. Okay, this is Davin we're talking about. Davin is he's like a rock.
He's our rock, not just the characters, but the audience's rock.
I made a note and I called him Davin the Silent Protector. Because every scene that he's in, I mean, we're going to have a Davin segment probably in a minute. Anyway, we'll get around to him. But like, every scene he's in, he barely speaks. And he just kind of like, I don't know, sometimes I think there's one bit later on where something happens with her sister. You know, you have another like spooky, scary bit where a ghost jumps out at her. And then they go to see that she's okay. And then Aaliyah is comforting her. She looks up and the camera kind of like, there's a lot of kind of comedic cinematography in this, but like unintentionally, I think. Because the camera just like pans up to him or tilts up to him as she looks up to him. And he just kind of gives her this nod like, like reassuring, like, and then it tilts back down again to them. And I was like, yes, Devin. God, he's always got your back. She calls him Vin as well, which is great.
Yeah. When I didn't notice that the first time we watched it, but when she said Vin, I was like, oh yeah, Vin,
Vin boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right, compose ourselves. Sorry.
Whew.
Yeah.
So they're in the cafe, and then she gets a call that her parents have been killed in a car incident. But he said, the guy on the phone says, we have to bury them immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
Why? You could have a closed casket.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He was just like, nah, they're already gone. Don't even, you can come over and talk to us, but they're already gone. Yeah. Don't even bother about it. Sorry. But when they go and speak to whoever that person is, I don't know if it's like a lawyer, whether it's one of the dad's colleagues or something. I thought he was a relative at first, but it's not like they were awake or something. They'd just gone over to where the parents lived and they were just talking to this guy. And he was describing to
I wrote that down as well.
Right? He was like, this shit was crazy. It was like the truck was carrying these metal beams, and he like mimes this, like his hands forwards as if his hands are going through the windshield of the car. I'm doing it now with my hand. But he's just like, the metal, it just went right through it. It was crazy. You should have seen this. Man, they were dead on the scene.
Yeah. Holy shit, it was so cool. Like, you ever seen Final Destination? It was exactly like that.
Wait, why did I say Final Fantasy? I said it's some Final Fantasy shit. I guess some like 50 hit combo, like some giant sword. Yeah. Final Destination. Why did I do that?
What's his fucking name? Raya or some shit. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then the pole went through him. Whatever the fuck. But the bit that it shows, it's like a flashback to them in the car accident. But it's so bad. It's like a JPEG of a truck in front of this car, and they're just sort of rocking back and forth in their chairs.
And it goes all the way as well. Like you see, it comes through the window, like the poles come through the windows and impale them, and you're just like, Jesus Christ! He's giving them a full rundown of this happening. And then he says to them as well that like, now that the dad's dead, I get they were living in like a company house or something, because I think she mentions that they travel a lot, right? So he's like, oh, by the way, you have like 3 months to move out because he's dead now. So the company's like, fuck you, bye. So they have to go, which is why they have to move back to the spooky house. That's the whole thing. You know, the original house.
Yeah, when they go into that house, it's like been I guess they had a funeral. I don't know, because they sort of walk in and everything's all solemn and everything, and then Aaliyah makes Davin sleep in a separate bed. She's like, no, not that room. You're sleeping in a separate room.
Yeah, why? Because I forgot that first bit.
Yeah, at first I was like, that's weird. Why did she... I thought they were together. But then I wonder if they'd had sex before. And if they had, was it ghost sex? And how did that work? Like, how long have they been dating?
I've got the rules. We'll go into the rules. Okay, there's nothing specific about that, but you can kind of put it together. I've got the rules. Don't worry, we'll go through them.
There's like...
The rules are extremely confusing.
Mace Windu or whatever the fucking name is. Yeah. It's like, you didn't notice? He's a ghost. Which raises a lot of questions. How did you guys, you know...
He was just like, did you just give like a nudge, just like,
You seeing that? You see, I know he's a ghost, but damn, girl.
Damn, you're looking good for dead. Yeah, because I forgot that beginning bit, because she says to him like, "Oh no, this is my parents' bedroom or whatever. We're not going to stay in here." But I must have missed it. Like I thought she was. Yeah, I thought they were going to be in the same room. I don't know if there's like a reason behind it or whatever. But just like later on, when something happens and they both come rushing out, I mean, she's in her own bedroom and he comes up from downstairs, and I thought he was just like sleeping on the couch. You know,
we don't see it, but they've had a massive argument.
Yeah, they've just had, and he just stood there like not saying anything the whole time.
Yeah. Just being a rock. Yeah. It just cuts to like they do a quick pan to him, and he's like, "Mm-hmm," and then it quick pans back to her, just nods.
You're always agreeing with everything I'm saying. But one thing I noted, because obviously now we get to see, it's, what did we say, like 10, 15 years on, something like that. So everyone's older. We get to see Abel. I'm trying to say her name. Abel, yeah, probably. That's probably it. The younger sister, and now she's probably like, I don't know, 15 or something?
Yeah, maybe. Like that. I don't know. And
she never takes her headphones off, as in, like, she always has them around her neck. And it does come into play because obviously she has her third eye open all the time, or she was like born with her third eye open, so she can get into the lore of this now, but she can always like see and hear ghosts and things and stuff like that. So she always has her headphones on to she says at some point, you know, she's just trying to drown out the voices. I think that was it. It was just she always has her headphones on, and I don't know at any point that she takes them off.
That was just one of the pet peeves that you noticed. You were just like,
one of the little. Oh no, that was it. It was because then at one point when she's talking with Aaliyah, she's got her headphones like on, like she's wearing them, and then in the reverse shot, they're around her neck, and it keeps going. Yeah. It goes back and forth, and I was just like,
she's just taking them on and off.
Yeah,
she's like,
in between lines, she's just like, just like flicking them back and forth.
Aaliyah's like, I saw a ghost and it came up to me. I'm so scared. And she's like, oh yeah. And then she puts her headphones back on. And then,
or it's like,
and then Aaliyah's like, are you really nonplussed about this? Like, and she's like, huh? Yeah. Oh yeah. No worries. No.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah. Or it's like partway through as she's talking, she's like, I saw a ghost.
Yeah.
And it was really scary. And I can't say.
And it's like a song just like, ooh yeah, and having a good time. And then it tore my arms and legs, and we have a good time.
But they have a scene like that, because they have a scene where Aaliyah's being dragged around the house by these ghosts.
Yeah.
And the sister, Abel, what, fucking know, I'm gonna get these names wrong all the time. Abel is listening to music, and it reminds me of like was it The Amazing Spider-Man, where you got Stan Lee listening to music and thrown around in the background. It's like that, because she just like goes to the loo, goes back, and you see her down like past the banister, like down on the bottom floor, just like like, dragged around like hold onto the curtains.
How
screaming.
Good are the headphones? Like noise cancellation. Damn.
This was an ad for those headphones.
Yeah. This whole film is just designed to promote these headphones.
You must open your third ear. Listen to these headphones. But the sister seems the older sister Aaliyah. She's just very. She doesn't seem very sensitive to clearly the amount of issues her sister has, because she's just like, yeah, we're going to move back to this house. And her sister's like, I don't want to go there. I don't like it there. And she's like, Why not? I'm like, what? She was literally, she had blood all over her legs. She was scratched to fuck. Like, she was super scratched up. She was like, yeah, we'll move back to that house that you're traumatized from.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Even if she doesn't believe that there were ghosts there, like, when they were younger.
And that she was seeing
she
people or whatever,
still had her legs scratched up by, I assume, a burglar. Like, she doesn't
Or a
have, like...
crackhead,
Yeah. She doesn't have PTSD by that.
I bet it was Scott.
Yeah, fucking Scott, like, I heard you like the Shrek films! Ah!
She was listening to Accidentally Loved by Counting Crows, and he was like, is that from a Shrek film, huh?
Annabelle's like, I'm 5 years old, I don't know what Shrek is.
Yeah.
It came out in 2001, it's before my time. I don't have the same nostalgia that everyone else seems to have.
He's like scratching it.
Yeah.
Goddamn Scott. Right.
Back in the house, the first thing that happens, the first spooky thing when they're back in, is that there's someone under a sheet and it sprints toward a bell. But then, after that scary bit, there's a title card saying, like, directed by Rocky
Story
Sorrell.
or whatever, yeah.
I looked, that's 12 minutes in. It's
I
12
thought it was really
minutes.
out of place.
Yeah,
because we already had the Indonesian name for the film.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was. We already had that, like, after the initial stuff, like when it goes to the 10 years later, right?
And it's literally like, okay, so it's ramping up. They're back in the house. Oh, this is the first scary thing, and then it's like directed by Rocky Sorrell, by the way.
Yeah.
If you can, in case you forgot, I directed this film.
They were so impressed with like that first scare. It's like you know the camera slowly pans across the room. You know you've got that sheet that looks like, is there a person under there maybe?
Yeah.
And you're kind of watching it like, ooh, and then it sprints towards the camera and she's like, she closes the door, and then it cuts the title card. He's like, yeah, that's right, I did that. That was my idea.
It's like I
wrote this in and I directed it.
Yeah. I wish they did that for like every 10 minutes. Just on
every
the dot. No, on the dot every 10 minutes, like mid-sentence. It's like directed by Rocky.
Instead of breaking it into chapters. You know?
Yeah.
It's like Justice League and Zack Snyder just printing it. You know.
Chapter 1, directed by Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
There's a bit where Alea is talking to Abel. I think this is after that first initial scare, and because of it, she doesn't want to go to school. And Alea,
because she's saying that somebody's following her at school.
Yeah, as well.
It's after that because she's been scared, right? So she's hiding in her room, and then Alea's saying, you know, we've got food, and she's knocking for her, but Abel won't come out of her room.
Yeah, and Alea's like, come on, you have to go to school. Abel's like, no, you can't make me. I don't want to go to school. And then Alea makes this weird hissing noise, which made me laugh.
I noted that down.
Yeah.
She literally rolls her eyes and she like kisses her teeth and makes some noise.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to go to school.
Kid.
And then she goes, Sss.
She's like, someone's following me at school. Like, she's got a genuine concern. I know that they probably, it's because she's got this history of saying that somebody's watching her or whatever, and she's just like, but still, I mean,
would you not even ask the school? Just be like, hey.
Yeah, just like, look, I've got some concerns. If somebody could just make sure she's okay. So, I don't know, something. But then, because she doesn't have any food, later on when everyone's asleep, she then decides to, like when no one else is around, is when she decides to get up and go and get some food from downstairs. And there's all this kind of, you know, there's like creepy stuff, creepy atmosphere. She's kind of feels like stuff is watching her and whatever. And she decides, once she gets her food, like puts a little bit on the plate, she's walking out and she decides to put her headphones on because she's getting creeped out.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would you, if you genuinely thought you had something chasing you earlier, you'd been scratched up like before, if you thought something was going to jump out at you and chase you, why would you take away your ability to hear them come? Yeah. She just puts her headphones on. She's just like, sunshine, sun, rain, and then she's like, coming after her. She's like,
she's like dancing, like throwing her arms back, and she like punches the zombie in the face. Just like,
oh, it's the comical.
yeah.
Gets the elbow backwards, yeah. And he's like, whoa, like falling down the stairs.
So is that I may be remembering, but I think that's the moment she goes to get food and then
Yeah.
Aaliyah gets attacked by this.
No. So this is the bit. This is where she goes to get the food. She's coming to come back up the stairs. Then you kind of, see some creepy, scary stuff in the background where somebody just kind of steps out. They just love having sheets on them because somebody steps out from behind a curtain, but like as in they step forwards, but the curtain is over
yes,
them.
you're right. Yeah.
Which it was a cool shot because you don't notice them at all. And when they step forward, it kind of looks like they come out of the wall or something.
Yeah.
Like it's quite cool, and it's immediately followed by a terrible CGI guy climbing up the stairs, like hilariously bad. But they just love being in sheets. Like there's that one in the beginning that we were talking about. There's one there. There's one later. I don't understand why the ghosts. Very is some kind of strange way to be like, well, they're just hiding.
The ghosts are anxious. They don't like being looked at. So
yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna scare you, but
don't look at me. I'm gonna put this sheet over. Is that okay? Just give me a second.
Yeah, okay. But she gets to the top of the stairs, and all the kind of things building, and you, I think because you see him. What I was saying, you see him climbing the stairs. I don't think she sees that. I think it's one of those things where you see it behind her.
Right,
and it would be creepy. It's kind of creepy, like, with the jittery, unnatural movements, but it's so superimposed that it's just funny.
And then I don't know why they did that. So they clearly, like, filmed the guy with all the makeup on a green screen.
Yeah.
Altered it
I think
slightly,
maybe
so
climbing...
up something or... down something?
I think they did it to get like a weird effect of they do it later with another one, another zombie. I keep calling them zombie because they look like zombies, right? It's another ghost on a car that's kind of climbing down the side of a car, and obviously it looks kind of weird because obviously it doesn't adhere to gravity, whatever. And I think what they probably did was record it so that they're climbing along a flat surface. When they tilt them up, it looks unnatural because. They did it to make it look unnatural, but because it's not kind of CG'd in well, if that's the terminology, because I'm a pro and I know all these terms. Because it's not done well, it just looks janky as hell.
Yeah,
but
it just looks.
It's kind of adds to the charm, honestly. But
yeah,
this guy like just like.
But I was just like, why? Like, if I was just curious to see, which is why it's kind of annoying that we don't have the budget. But I was curious to see like how much that costs them to do, and in terms of like, true. Why not just save that money? Have him climb the stairs because he's already got the makeup on. It's not like they were saving on makeup and just do it by CGI.
Yeah,
just like
it's just the director. Like they just had to throw somebody else there. They just throw him in, no makeup. Just climbing up the stairs. He's going
and then it comes up with Rocky Shaw again. But he's holding it
and like an arrow pointing to him. Yeah. But I think this is one of the first pieces of like comedic cinematography that is used. But it can't be intentionally comedic because it's just you don't get the impression that the film is like trying to do that. But she stops, and you think she's going to look around behind her and see the guy, or he's going to come up behind her or something because it's got a close-in shot on her. But then she's getting kind of scared, and she looks down, and he's just like holding her legs, like looking up at her, like he's just there. And I was like, how did he? She just looks down, and he's just there, like holding on to her, looking up, going, and I was like, what? How?
But it's not like he's gnawing at her leg or something. He's literally just holding on, like, what are you gonna do about it?
It's like, hey, but like, there's no kind of. It's not like he grabbed her and she reacts and screams or whatever. He's just there already. Yeah. It's so weird. And then, that's when you have the whole thing where Lee and Davin then run in. And the interesting thing to note, I mean, obviously now that, as we established that Davin is sadly not a living person. Yeah. He's a ghost in this. He's the Indonesian Patrick Swayze. But whenever he's around, everything is okay. And I think it's actually, I don't know if they intentionally do that. Maybe they do. But because he is like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's a good ghost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's quite good, and that works because like every time, when they first come into the house, there's nothing spooky going on or whatever. When Abel's alone, she obviously gets jumped by person under sheet, ghost under sheet.
Yeah.
But she gets jumped by the guy climbing up the stairs and everything. But then as soon as her sister and Davin come in, there's nothing. There's no kind of issue. There's no ghost, whatever. And I think Davin leaves that morning because Davin always kind of.
I've written. I think
one of the reasons that we love him so much is because he just he comes and goes, and he just whenever he comes back, he's just like, I don't know how to describe it. He's just like we said, he's the kind of silent type. He's just always there, but he's this reassuring presence. Like every time he comes back, that everything's going to be okay because Davin is here, and he's just like, yes, nod.
There's a bit. So they go to get Aaliyah because Aaliyah's sick of this shit. She's like, shut the fuck up, Abel. I'm sick of your bullshit. Yeah. I'm gonna get my third eye open so I can see what you're going on about.
Yeah, because she originally says about getting a psychiatrist or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then her sister kind of reveals oh, Mum never did that because they do the exposition just like Mum used to get you to see the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And she said, well, actually, she got me to see this crazy lady. Mace Windu. Her name is, for reference, we've not called her by her name until this point. Her name is Boo Windu, B-U, Windu.
It's funny because...
which I put in the notes relative of Mace.
Yeah. Brother.
It's like
a sister, sorry.
It's his half-brother.
But yeah, it's funny because I wrote Mace Windu as soon as they're introduced.
Of course.
Boo Windu. That was it. It was just Mace Windu for me for the rest of the film, for all of my notes. Yeah. Macy. But yeah,
Macy
so they
Windu.
they go to get her third eye open, and Davin's like, "I'm here for you." And the next sentence he says is, "Okay, I need to leave to go see my dad in Bangkok or something."
No, she says that to him. So he's saying, "Oh, I'm here for you," and then she's like, "It's not Bangkok. It's
wherever it is,
Bangam, but I can't remember exactly. Yeah, it's
somewhere else.
Something.
Yeah,
or Bungam. I can't remember. But he's like, "I'm here for you," and she's like, "Don't you have to go?"
And he's like, "Yeah, oh yeah, all right, bye."
Oh yeah, bye. Just walks off, and I made that note of again, could be an unintentional thing. I don't know, but he didn't have anything with. He didn't have bags to take with him. Nothing.
No,
he was just
yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna go see my dad, and he's got his camera on him, and that's it. And he just walks off. I guess because they probably only have on them what they died in.
I guess so. Yeah.
But then she just thinks that he has one outfit for how I don't know how it's never clarified how long it's been since he died. I think
it says they've been together for 8 months, but I don't know how.
I don't know when he died because he was going to talk to his dad, who he hadn't talked to for years or whatever, right? I think he was going to make amends.
But I'm not sure. But he really does have one outfit. I wonder if Elliot's this guy is almost perfect. He just wears the same clothes. And he doesn't smell. So I wonder if he's bought 16 of the same jumpers.
And he hides them.
Yeah, and he hides them from me because I've never seen his closet.
I've never seen his apartment.
Yeah. Or he just washes them every day. When he says he needs to go see his father, she's like, "Don't you need to go see your father?" And it's just code for "wash your damn clothes, you
stupid." She looks at him, she's raising the eyebrows, she's like, "See your father."
Yeah.
And he's just sniffs his pits, he's like, "Ooh, yeah, sorry, I'll do that."
Yeah, he's got a little stain, ketchup stain on his jumper. It's you need to see your father again. It's the third time today. Get your shit together. But they go.
He's present for. Oh no! Sorry, he leaves as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So they go to Mace Windu. I'll never stop.
Never stop.
And Windu explains the whole third eye thing.
And I time coded it. It was at 22 minutes and 37 seconds that they first said third eye. So one of them, I think it was the kid. I think it was Abel who was like, "My third eye has been open since I was little."
Brilliant.
And my God, did they say that? We should have got a counter because they just pop that word off every 2 minutes.
Yeah. But she's explaining the whole third eye thing, and then Alea like repeats everything Mace Windu has just said to her, and then Mace Windu is just like, yeah. Like, so she's not bothered. And she does that throughout the film. Character. She's just like, because she's like, so much detail, like, your third eye, it's what allows you to see all these dead people. And then Leia's like, so I can see dead people? She's like, yeah. And then she does it again. And like, when Leia goes, she asks, like, so does that mean we could open my third eye? And Abel looks shocked, like, oh my god, you're going to do it. And there's dramatic music. Yeah. And then again, Mace Windu's just like, yeah, we could do that.
Because I made that note where she's like, the music, which is like, you know, it's all being explained to her about the third eye. And then Aaliyah's like, can we open it by force? There's like, they're like, she's like, I want to open mine.
And then she's just like, yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. It's all right. I mean, Windu is she's a whole world of her own. I mean, this woman can do anything. It's insane. Like, as the film goes on, she's doing hand gestures to all sorts of things. She's like opening portals to hell so that they can go and retrieve the sister's soul or whatever, like at the end. Like, she could do all sorts of shit.
But I don't know. I feel like she was half trained by someone and she doesn't really know what she's doing. Because when I made the exact same note. When they open her third eye for thirst, like, she's like, we've got to use this special magic potion. But I can see what they have for the magic potion. It's just tomato and basil in a jar. I can see that. She
brings them in on a tray. She's just got like a few herbs and stuff. Yeah. She blindfolds Aaliyah and then points a finger gun in her face for like 5 seconds. She like shakes her hand around a bit. And then she's like, you're good.
Aaliyah's like, she tries the tomato and basil. She's just like, oh. Well, I had this for lunch. Like, is it already open?
It's just like, no, this is for later. Sorry, this is...
Yeah, this is...
Because she says to her beforehand, like, you know, opening your third eye is a very difficult procedure.
Yeah, like, but she just does it. Like,
she just points at her.
With some tomato and basil.
Yeah.
If it was that easy, I would have done it.
Just throwing the basil on her, just like... But I mean, Aaliyah's very like, she was really sassy in that scene as well.
Yeah, she's kind of
questioning everything.
Yeah, she doesn't believe it at all. Even to the point where she like doesn't feel right. She starts to see like weird stuff, and then she goes to the doctor, and it just classic doctor, because it's like, nothing's wrong. Here's some vitamins.
Just take some bloody vitamins. Go on, get out.
I know he's not a real doctor because I could read his handwriting. Like, he hands her a note for the vitamins, and it's like in plain, clear to read text.
Yeah.
Vitamins.
Vitamins. Take vitamins. Which one? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Take
just
them.
any of them.
All of them. Find whatever vitamins you can. Just take them. Go to their desk. They'll hand you some. They've got some in the drawer. But I mean, the hospital is. You know, it's the bit which makes her believe that she can see ghosts or whatever, because they just fucking wheel this kid in who is like cut and bruised. She looks like a state. I mean, she's dead. Like, you know, we figure that out later.
Yeah.
I mean, you figure it out straight away, really. You know what's going to happen. But like, somebody just wheels her in and leaves her in the waiting room. Just leaves her there. She turns to Aaliyah and she's like, kind of asks her what's up, you know, why she's there. And she's like, oh, yeah, I've just got some kind of headache and things like that.
Some vitamins.
You know, not much. And she's like, how are you? And I was like, this fucking kid is like bruised and beaten to shit. And she's just like, what about you? And the kid was like, oh yeah, my dad abuses me. And she's like, oh fuck. I was just like, what do you expect?
Yeah,
this kid
she's like, wait, really? I didn't see any signs of abuse. Like, are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, man. But I think the biggest crime, I think in the whole film, the bit that made me the most angry, more than something that they do with the twist with Davin, that we'll talk about, the most angry thing was she goes to a vending machine, right? And she buys a Coke bottle.
Bottle
of Coke.
God, yeah.
You remember this now?
Yeah.
She gets a Coke bottle. She kind of I don't think you ever see her drink from it. Like it a bit kind of does go missing from it at some point. She like unscrews it at some point, then she's talking to the kid and whatever. She goes into the doctor because she's called in, and when she leaves, she puts the whole thing
And the whole bottle,
like a whole bottle of Coke into the bin. You can see it's basically full. Like maybe she's taken like a little sip out of the top. That's about it. There's nothing more than that. She puts the whole thing into the bin, and I was like, you know what? There's no way I can root for you now.
Yeah.
You put the whole Coke in the bin. That's disgusting.
That's something that fucking Scott would do.
Yeah, that's a Scott move.
That's
is.
a definite.
I feel we're really
Scott
ragging on this, Scott. Guys. Scott, if you somehow find this podcast,
We're sorry,
we do
we
hate
don't-
you.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't mean it. But you've
No, but we
got
do.
No, we do. We hate you. How dare you?
How dare you say that about Shrek? Oh, man.
But yeah,
But, and she knows the kid's name for some reason. She was never told it. It must have been a deleted scene, but when she goes to the mum, she
Oh yeah,
mentions
she
the kid's
does.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, "Hey, I've just thrown my Coke in the bin. Also, your kid says she loves you or something."
Yeah, but obviously, I mean, the kid's been dead like since that morning
Yeah.
or whatever. So the mum's like, "Are you taking the piss?" You know.
What
kinda
the
scared.
fuck's wrong with it? Yeah. In the hospital, I think it's after that bit, she goes to the toilet. She's like, "Oh,
Because she's freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she hears someone in a cubicle, and
It's after being on the phone, like to her sister, and kind of
Yeah,
say
yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm so scared. I'm seeing things and all this kind of stuff," and she finishes the call.
Yeah, that's right. And then so she says she's on the call, and they hang up. And then afterwards, she hears a noise in a cubicle, and her immediate thought is like, obviously it turns out to be a ghost, but her immediate thought is like, I'm gonna look under this cubicle, see what
Yeah.
it is. It's just some guy like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this is probably a guy. It's probably the
Yeah, yeah.
guy
Oh, yeah,
toilets,
yeah,
but like toilet flushing, and she's like, she's like, and then she's like going to the door, putting her ear against the door.
Yeah.
It's like,
Even when
she's like, go away, I'm having a shit.
Yeah. Even when she opens the door and the ghost is revealed, even the ghost is like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'm doing my business. Thank
Look,
you
I'm
very
taking
much.
a ghost shit. Okay, we still got to do them.
Yeah, we still got
still
to do
happens.
it, and they're 10 times worse. And now you've just disturbed me.
Dad, you can't wipe.
Yeah. You ever seen a ghost try and pick up toilet paper? It's a nightmare.
Yeah, but like ghosts don't shit, so why is she scared?
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, that's one thing that I found clashes with the rules. Shall I cover some of these rules?
Yeah, let's
'Cause
go.
I've made a big note of these.
Go over
because
them. List
that was a
them off.
particular thing that I was interested in. So I kind of listed them mostly in order, and it's so overcomplicated. So here we go. The rules. You can see spirits if you open your third eye. That's established. That's pretty standard. But
Right.
we learned later on that, I mean, because Davin is dead, right? So Aaliyah has been seeing Davin this whole time since whenever he died, at whatever point. So she could, in some way, see ghosts. Now, her sister, she could see ghosts, since she was born. Like, she's born with her third eye open, whatever. But Windu says something about brave people, because, I mean, the spirits feed off of fear and whatever. So, like, only brave people who already have their eye open don't realize that they can see them, so they kind of just see them out their peripherals or whatever. And I was like, brave people? Like, how does that work? How does that make sense? She described it to her at some point of, she said that her eye was like half open or something.
Yeah.
She's got like 2.5 eyes.
That's the spin-off. That's like
That's
the
this.
half,
Yeah, that's the kind
half
of prequel sequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just, I mean,
2.5
spirits.
eye.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the 2.5th eye. They have like a bunch of sequels for this prequel sequel. It just follows Davin in his adventures in heaven.
The root pie, third eye, 3.
The pie eye. But yeah, so I mean, spirits stick around for unfinished business. I mean, that's a pretty standard thing.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
established
Of
lots of
course.
things. So that's, they stick around because they have unfinished business. but you have like evil tainted spirits. They don't really specify how that works, like why some are. Maybe it's like a bad death or they're vengeful or something, I don't know. But they've got like bad energy, like negative energy, that then gets worse if they make you afraid because they like feed off of that. But then they can also somehow possess you in some, I'm not sure what the parameters are, like if you're afraid enough, maybe, I'm not sure. But I mean, Aaliyah gets possessed towards the end of the film, and she's supposedly a quote unquote brave person. So I'm not sure exactly. She just kind of suddenly gets possessed. So they can possess you and then take you back with them, I guess your soul or whatever, to hell, or whatever that place is. She said it's like, she said like hell. So I don't know.
Hell-ish.
Like hell adjacent. But yeah, and then see, the thing is, they set a lot of rules that sound like they just wrote it as it went along.
Yeah,
and had to kind of retrospectively be like, oh yeah, but you see, it only works in this specific way. Because they're like, oh, spirits can sometimes see other spirits, but not always. Because Davin can't see the other ghosts, right? So they're like, well, sometimes spirits can see other spirits, but it's kind of vague. Maybe sometimes they can. They don't. It doesn't really matter.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the audience was watching it while they were filming. So it's like she can't be possessed because she's brave. And then she gets possessed, and then the audience are like, with their popcorn, like, hey, I thought they couldn't get possessed because they're
like,
she
was brave.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh yeah, but
she's like, oh,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. Oh, no, actually, yeah, that's my next bit. That is what they say, is that spirits can possess an empty mind, and apparently because Aaliyah was too focused on her sister, she then qualifies for having an empty mind. So that's why they possess her. And I was like, what? That's just like they're being savage to her. Like, yeah, she's a bit dim. She's got an empty mind, so they took her over.
I mean, she dated a ghost for 8 months.
She had no clue. Yeah. But then, if you're taken to hell, people can then be brought back from hell via astral projection. Like the person who's going can astral project into like hell adjacent, wherever the hell it is. Right. That's what we're going to call it, wherever the hell it is.
Hell adjacent.
Yeah. They can project into hell. However, anyone who goes into hell can't return unless they're accompanied by an entity. This is the quote: an entity that is like them, someone not human. So an entity that is like a ghost, basically. Like a ghost has to go with a person who's astral projecting to go into hell to rescue another person whose soul is trapped in there, who's not dead. Now, if you think this is complicated, there's more layers. And as we know, as Scott won't like to hear, we do like layers. Layers. So, I'm trying to get my mind around this now. So those who are unaware that they are dead, like Davin doesn't know that he's dead. For some reason, this is a rule they just throw in as well. Those who are unaware that they're dead can still touch things, like that, poltergeist style. They can still like interact with things, because I noticed that Davin,
he interacts with a bunch of stuff.
He like opens doors, and I mean, obviously he interacts with he's been interacting with Leah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they don't know that they're dead, then they can interact with stuff, unlike those who know that they're dead, who apparently can't do that. But the ghosts that we've been seeing can slam doors and drag people around, and I mean, there's that lady who opened the door to the cubicle, even though she was dead. So did none of them know they were dead? But they seem to know they're dead, because the family, the family that the main kind of story is about, trying to get rid of them, they know revenge. They want revenge for being killed, so they know that they're dead. So that doesn't really. But I'm sure there's an extra clause to that somewhere that clarifies.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that, I mean, the rules, they have these rules, but it's like they were written specifically for that one thing. So the fact that, like, only ghosts that know they are dead can interact with things, and good ghosts have to get them out of adjacent hell or whatever. It was like, there was just like, it's fine, because Davin is the exception, so Davin can go with you.
They were basically like, look, we've got the situation, we need to clarify. They just didn't need any of that. They could have just, I feel like they were like, okay, we need David to leave, so he's got to go with her.
Yeah,
so why
yeah.
can't he just do it on his own? Oh, well, it's because this is the other thing. Those people who are dead can't bring the living back themselves. Only the living can do that. So he just needs to accompany her astral projecting so that their energy can, quote unquote, become one, and then they can save the sister. And I was just like, fucking, who made these rules?
Yes.
Jesus. And then they slip in as well when Dabin goes back to speak to his dad, which we don't see initially, and then we see it in a kind of flashbacky thing. He goes to speak to him, and it says like, oh, when you talk to someone who's sleeping, they can hear you in their dreams. And I was like, what, you adding all these other rules in? What are you talking about? Like, he just goes to his dad, and he's like, cool, man. Like, I'm trying to make amends, bye, because his dad's asleep. And then that's it. I was just... The rules in this, they get more complicated in the second film. They add more and more stuff in. And I think we definitely lost me by that point. We've got to look at that at some point.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely will at some point.
But yeah, God. Those rules are just crazy. Like, and they really just, like... So, for example, like, when something happens, it just makes you're like... Wait, but I thought unless that means that this person doesn't know, but then wait, what? Like, so
and then they'll just explain it with another couple layers where they're like, but you see on the third moon of the fifth day, only this can happen, blah 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 blah, you know, in like very specific circumstances. But yeah, as well, like with the whole thing with the ghosts is that, I mean, you know, the whole thing they said where they've got some unfinished business and whatever, and you have the scene in the hospital where she's running away and the ghost is saying to her that she needs help. Like, she's kind of being all creepy and everything and jump scaring her and whatever, but she's coming towards her and going like, help, help. And you're like, okay, well, you know, she just needs some help.
Yeah.
And with that perspective, when she goes back to the house and there's like a bit later where it's at night and it's creepy. I don't remember why maybe she hears a noise or something. She goes downstairs. Oh, she hears the door. The door, I think, slams, and she thinks Davin's come back. So she goes downstairs, and then suddenly the fireplace fire is going, and she's like, really creeped out and stuff. And I was like, these ghosts are just vibing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They're putting on the fireplace because they're cold, right? The mum's chopping some carrots it's like a creepy thing where you can only see her in the mirror, and she's like chopping carrots. And I was like, she's just chopping up some carrots. She's making a meal.
Yeah,
the kid's playing with his choo-choo train.
Yeah.
Right?
And then she's like, can you go get your father? We're about to have dinner. I wrote down, those ghosts just wanted a nice family meal, and Alea ruined it.
Yeah, she just comes in
like,
screaming.
They're like, shut up! It's Sunday roast for us. I know it's Tuesday for you, but time works differently. We're ghosts.
We lost a few days.
Yeah.
You know, when we died.
It's a 5-day week now.
Oh, but I mean, and the whole thing with the family of like how they all died, because
oh my god, yeah. Wait.
I mean, so basically what happens is we kind of have a little flashbacky thing where they try and find out how they can help out the family, and they realize that they were all murdered by, shocking twist, the gardener that we see like maybe twice, because he didn't do such a good job, so they didn't treat him so well, so then he decided to like steal all of their stuff out of their safe. I don't know how he got the code, but he's stealing all the stuff out of the safe.
Yeah.
But he comes in like balaclava, kind of sneaks into their room. He has a massive machete on his hip, and he steals the stuff, and then the dad wakes up and he's like, what are you doing? And he just chops the fucking guy's leg off.
Yeah.
He just
clean
one
cut.
swing, clean cut, just lops this guy's leg off, bungs them, all of them, in the mother and the kid and stuff as well, who are awake by this point, because they're all in the same room, I think. He just bungs them all into the wardrobe, fucking hacks away at the dad a little bit to kill him, make sure he finishes them off, and then closes the wardrobe and locks it. And they say, the woman afterwards, Windu, when she's talking about it, she says, oh yeah, they suffocated in there. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
I
It's
can
a wardrobe.
see the gap in the... there's a gap. I can see
a wardrobe. It's made of wood. They could just kick their way out. It may take like an hour or something. I don't know how reinforced that is, but just get out of the closet. Just kick it open. She opens the door like later on when she's in the flashback herself, and she's kind of seeing the aftermath of it, and she just sees them all like lying there dead, like cuddled up. And I was like, they just laid down and died. They were like, what? This is locked. I don't have the keys. What am I supposed to do? You know.
That's the other thing. There's a key. That means there's a keyhole.
Yeah.
There's a keyhole. They could just breathe through it.
Yeah. Just put their lips to the the keyhole and just suck air through it. Yeah. But I just, some of the motivations in this are kind of strange. Because then, obviously, to see that it had the reveal of it being the gardener, I mean, he gets to the window and he's about to leave, and then he kind of turns back and then lifts his mask up to breathe. He takes in a big breath of air. Maybe it's like he's traumatized or he's just kind of shocked because he's just realized he's killed some people or something. I don't know, because they give him a very brief background where they're like, his wife is dying or something. It doesn't really matter. He's getting some money.
Yeah, it's literally like, and she's dying. Who cares? Basically, he bloody chops his leg off and then he gets away with it.
Pretty much. Well, to the end when he gets stabbed many, many times.
I did count.
Oh, you did count them?
Yeah, I wrote like props to the gardener because let's go back a bit because we find out that that's why they're haunting the house because of the gardener. They were murdered by the gardener, and then Alea gets possessed. And
because they try and reach out to them, right? So
they do
ask them how to help them.
Yeah, and that's why Alea gets possessed. But then so they secure her down with like ropes and stuff. Alea's like throwing around shit, like floating. She's got her eyes are
some
white.
real Exorcist type.
Yeah, the whole shebang. They restrain her, and then Mace Windu says she's possessed. Thank you. I hadn't realised that she was possessed. After all that's going on, I kind of assumed, but thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
But then, so Alea sort of gets away, and they realise that she's going to kill the gardener. And they're like, quick, stop, she's gonna kill the gardener. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
He's a murderer. They're like, quick, stop!
Sure, maybe he deserves justice, as in just a just kind of trial and go to prison or whatever. But still,
but in the grand scheme of things, with everything else going on, just leave it, mate. Who cares?
Honestly, and how many doors keep slamming into them as well to stop them? Like every door they get to slams shut, and they have to find a way to break it open on their way to run after her.
There's one where the door slams shut and Mace Windu picks up a can of sardines, I think it is. She just gently knocks off the handle. She's like, and then it opens.
She's got some mad superpowers.
Yeah, I'm telling you. She's got all the tricks in the book.
Yeah. Well, because the reason they don't want to move out of the house as well, after they find out about the reason, the family were killed and all this kind of stuff, and Windu's like, look, honestly, cut your losses, leave.
Yeah.
Just go. And then Alea says, I don't have the money to get out of this house. And I was like, sell the house.
Yeah, just sell
You inherited this house from your parents. If you don't want it, sell it. It is massive. It's a huge house.
Huge house. It's a good house.
Massive. Honestly, that would sell for a couple million.
House. Yeah. And this guy clearly had a decent job. They had multiple company houses or whatever. You probably got some money on the side as well.
They would have inherited that money, yeah.
Yeah, I also wrote that down. Just
Oh, and of course Davin has to dip again. Just before all this stuff happens where Alea gets possessed and stuff, Davin has to leave because they're like, well, the spirits don't like you. They won't do anything if you're around. And Davin's like, oh, okay. Yeah. He just nods in agreement and he has to leave.
Yeah. Davin, in that bit, Davin says, can the spirits see us humans? And she just goes, yeah.
And she knows.
Again. Yeah, she knows he's a ghost. And she's like, yes, humans.
Yes, Davin, you are human.
Yeah.
Wink. He's like, what?
And they're like, yeah. And then Alea's like, wait, what? Everyone's like, wait, what? And he's like, don't worry about it. We'll get to it later.
I'm Davin. It's fine. Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry. Don't even worry about it.
But yeah, props to the gardener for running away after being stabbed clean through the chest.
So what was the stab count?
It was 7 times, including including chopping off his leg. She stabs him 7 times through the chest.
Wait, is the stabbing separate from the chopping of the leg? So 7 stabs in one shot?
No.
6 stabs, 1 shot.
Yeah. So
it's a good band name.
Yeah. That's fucking Scott's band name.
Yeah. Scott's band name would be I hate Shrek. I don't know. It's so dumb.
Scott's band name would be
Scott Stinks.
Yeah. Got him.
The Scott guy. Got him. Oh man, but this gardener.
Yeah,
she's using a pair of shears as well, like massive garden shears.
Yeah,
so it's not like
yeah.
he's being stabbed with a little knife. It goes through his entire body.
Yeah, and 6 times being stabbed through the chest before he dies. He's like, I've been stabbed. Carries on crawling. I've been stabbed. Carries
like,
on yeah. And then like they're just watching. Like, they can't get through another door, so they're just watching her repeatedly stab him.
Till she finds the magic sardines.
Yeah. And again, they're like, stop, don't. Why? Like, he's already dead. Just leave it.
Like, he's gonna bleed out any minute now. I'm surprised he's still going.
Honestly, the leg was enough. Chopping off the leg was way more than enough.
Yeah.
And they're just like, no, stop it. No.
And also, that's an interesting thing to remember is that ghosts forget about back doors. If you're ever stuck, the ghosts will forget about the back doors. Because at one point, I think it's when they're in the house, like when Aaliyah first leaves their actual house, the front door locks and they're like, "Oh, we can't get out." And then Windu's like, "Let's just go out the back." And they just, I mean, she didn't say that, but like they just turn around and run out the back door, and the back door's open.
And you're expecting it's like, oh, the back door. Quick, and you're expecting that to slam shut and be like, oh no, we're trapped.
And they got to smash it because it's made of glass.
Yeah, they just do. They're like, quick, the back door. Oh yeah.
It's open, let's go.
Yeah. And then, so after that, Aaliyah, Abel runs over to Aaliyah because the deed's done. Essentially, they got what they wanted, the ghost. They killed the gardener.
Yeah. And the Windu established before as well that they wanted two things, because they said they wanted the house, but what they wanted was to possess someone and to get revenge. So when they kill the gardener, they were then also going to take what's her name, Aaliyah, into hell with them because she stayed in their house. For some reason, they were possessive about their house. Yeah. They're like, "It's our house, and fuck you for staying in it." Because I don't know why
that
they
makes
didn't.
More sense.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, but I don't know how they knew it was the gardener. Like, because he had the mask on the whole time, and then while they were dying, maybe the dad saw him after becoming a ghost, I don't know how quickly that happens, but he showed his face when he left the house, like when he was going out the window. He had a balaclava on and everything the whole time. Like, they had no idea who this guy was that just bunged him in the thing. I don't know, I mean, did he come by the house later on, like once they were dead, and he was like... I sure do remember killing his family.
They watched the flashback as well.
Oh, that's true.
They were like, oh, yeah, that's us. And it's the gardener. That makes so much more sense.
Look, Mom, I'm on the flashback. Yeah. And they didn't... Like, the whole thing happened because they didn't pay the gardener. Like, he did a shoddy job, apparently. But they still had him employed. Because he has a conversation with the father, and he's like, look, it's payday. Can I please be paid? Because my wife is, like, ill, and I need the money. And then he's like, no, you're bad at your job. And he's like, yeah, but you still pay him.
Yeah.
Like, if you've employed him, you still pay him. If he's bad at his job, fire him. If not, pay him. And he's just like, no,
ways.
Get off me.
Yeah. He's like, it works both ways as well. He's like, pay me. And the guy's like, no. And he's like, instead of being like, I'm going to fucking rob your house and kill you, he's like, okay, I'll go to the police then. Cause
I'll go to the authorities.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know, just stupid.
So when Abel gets possessed, I guess so it's because she's scared, so they can take her to hell?
That's what they say. So she says, again, they're just kind of like making stuff up as they go. So she says, oh, she's more afraid, so she'll be easier to take, is what she says. Okay. But she's like reading her forehead or whatever. She's got like 2 fingers on her forehead. This is a Windu. Because she can just do all these crazy magical things with her hands. She like puts 2 fingers on her forehead, and her face, with the expressions and everything, she's like, oh, that's bad, yeah. Like, oh yeah, I'm getting a bad reading off of this one. and then Aaliyah's like screaming over her. Nah. And we're just literally like, nah, she's gone, mate. And she says her spirit is with the evil spirits now forever. And I was like, fucking, don't rub it in. Oh my god.
They go. I guess Because Alea's like, is there nothing we can do? And then she explained the whole thing about like, oh, you've got to go in.
Ghosts can do this.
Yeah.
She waits till they're in the hospital though before she does this.
Yeah.
Before she brings up the fact that there's another option.
Yeah, then Alea's like, can you go in and get her? And Mace Windu's just like, nah, I gotta guard the gate. I can't do it, mate.
I've got a thing at 5.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't.
Literally like, nah, the gate. I've got to
guard the gate so things don't come through. Even though she specifically stated that if you go in, you can't come out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Davin, Davin can't come out. Is it only evil ghosts that can come out of the gate? Like, how does that work? She just didn't want to.
Literally, she's like, nah, can't do it, mate.
Can't do it, won't do it, sorry.
Busy.
I've got to cut my hair.
So yeah, then they're in the hospital bed.
They're all in it.
They're all in the bed, cuddling, spooning.
5 in the bed.
And then she explains the whole thing. And then that's when the twist is revealed. The greatest twist on
for the greatest
Earth.
Man.
Yeah. That Davin was a ghost the whole time.
And don't get us started, because when we watched this, we first watched this film together, right? I mean, as I said, like at the top. So we first watched this film together ages ago, and I don't remember when we called it, but I'm sure that we called that he was dead, and it must have been. I don't know if it was that much earlier, but it might have just been in that scene because she was talking about something. I'm not sure, because I remember us going, no, you can't be saying this, because we were anticipating it, because we were saying there's no way that he's dead, because we know that he has interacted with people, like, or we know that he's had like
like we've seen it throughout the film,
right? We've seen him do this kind of stuff.
But then and then it's just the reveal. I remember being like, no way. I can't remember if we finished the film then and then did it.
We did.
We just did it.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
So we finished the film and then we went back and watched the scene, because what they do
a flashback. Yeah, sorry.
They do a flashback to the cafe of him like sat there and like giving the coffee, but then it turns out there's a guy behind Davin who's like, hey, can you send this coffee over to that sexy lady over there? And the waiter like hence gives him the coffee, but he's not there in the first scene.
No, so like, he is there, but it shows it differently. So, and I mean, that's what we were mad about, wasn't it? The fact that they clearly when they recorded it a second time, they did it differently. What
really happens, without any ghosts or anything, is this guy orders Alea a coffee, and then she's like, oh, thanks, haha, gives him a wave, or looks like he gives him a wave, because Davin's apparently sat in front of him. And then he, like, gets up to go to, like, speak to her, and then she just turns to her left and just starts talking to someone invisible. So she's like, yeah, thanks for the coffee. How have you been? Yeah, I've been good. And the guy's just stood there watching them while they're drinking the coffee. He's like, what the fuck?
He's like, I'm not going to do that.
He's like, bye.
I'm not dealing with that. Because the original, I kept an eye out for it when I watched it this time round. So in the original scene, she looks over, because the waiter comes over to her and he says, you know, here's a coffee for you. And she says, I didn't order anything. And he says, it was ordered for you from that guy over there, and kind of gestures behind him. And she looks over, and it kind of focuses on Davin. Davin's there. He smiles at her. Maybe he gives a wave. I don't remember. But the guy behind him, for a fraction of a second behind Davin, you see him kind of smile a bit, because he's looking over as well at her, and he kind of smiles a bit, and then it immediately kind of carries on to the next bit. Like Davin gets up and he goes and sits next to her and whatever. But when they reshoot it, where Davin isn't there, the guy actually does the little wave. He kind of like smiles and does a little wave, like immediately when she looks over. So it is different. And and when we first watched this, we were like, bullshit. Don't try and pull that on us. We saw it. We know that it wasn't like that. You think you're being clever with the going back to it and you're doing this, but no. I will not stand for that. You shot it differently the second time around. Don't even try and fool us. And Davin forever.
But I did put that it's a good twist, because because they filmed it differently, like, you have no inkling that he's a ghost for the whole film. So when it's revealed,
Just think he's a bit
like,
stiff.
yeah, you're like, no, that's impossible. No way. Oh my god.
Yeah, because then they do the whole explanation where she's like, that's when they explain, but you see, Davin could open doors and move things because he doesn't know he's a ghost. And you're like, what? Yeah, what? How? Even though other ghosts can't. Yeah, I mean.
But
yeah,
also, that still doesn't explain, like, so she's just got, again, was it 8 months, it said? However long they've been through. That means he
probably died at some point during that time, I think.
Oh, you mean... because I assumed they weren't together, and then she met Ghost afterwards.
Ghost Devon, yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
What? Because I was just thinking, like, she's been gone through, like, this whole relationship, just, like, for 8 months walking around, like, no, stop it, you, like, in public, and people are just staring at her, like, what a fucking psycho. Just like, she's like, table for two, please. And then it just walks in and she's just like, just eating this meal. Oh, wait, it's like that poor girl over there.
It's like, I wondered why nobody ever asked for his order.
Yeah.
She's always like, I just ordered for him because he's too awkward to speak to them. And they're like, you want 2 steaks?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, one for me, one for him. And they're like,
okay.
Of course not.
Yeah, and then
she's like, we'll split the bill.
And where does the food go? If he's like, is it just an empty...
I guess he can eat it because he can physically move stuff, right?
So
then everyone else in the restaurant is
there's just floating cutlery. A bit of meat.
There's so many questions.
She's just like...
Like, is the camera dead as well? Because he's got a camera around his neck.
Yeah,
exactly. So is the camera a ghost camera?
Or is it just like,
does he go get ghost film?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It's funny as well because we see it flashes back to him dying. So it goes through the whole explanation of, like, like him not speaking to his dad, and then they're like, "Oh,
he's
going to
go
speak
maybe
to him."
Speak to him.
Yeah, and then he gets hit by a car. But that car is going like max 10 miles an hour. It's going so slow.
And also he looks to the right first.
Yeah, he does. And then this car just appears, and it's like at the front of a hotel, like, or something. So there's nothing obstructing his view. Like, he could have just seen this car coming.
Yeah.
And he's just like...
He probably saw the car and thought, it's going 10 miles an hour. I've got more than enough time to cross this road. And the car just kept going and fucking knocked him down. I thought that was so fun. Yeah, that was such a janky... Again, that's kind of like, they don't really have enough budget to do, like, a crazy stunt and make it look like it actually hits him.
So they just had to do
just
like a really
we'll just take it slow. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so we have all this reveal and everything, and then they have to go to hell. And again, I mean, like I said, again, Mace Windu, Macy Windu Jr., she has just like a million superpowers. So she's just like, I'll just make a portal for you to go to hell. Like, don't worry about it. We'll set up some like candles and things. And she has this like compass that detects positive and negative energy, I think. She tells them that if the compass spins anti-clockwise, then it's detecting, and she can kind of point it in a direction, then it's detecting like negative energy, and if it goes clockwise, it's detecting positive energy. They missed a really good opportunity to have her kind of like turning the compass, having a look around, and then just at the side of the screen, like, not, it doesn't have to be focused on, but she passes Davin and it like turns the other way, you know what I mean? Get like a positive. Like, there's so many opportunities they could have had to, they kind of do a couple of times, have like a couple hints, but not really. I feel like they were so precious about having this twist that they didn't really make it so that
exactly,
if you rewatched it, you could see all of these hints and be like, because all of the people, I mean, the main body of the film is just her sister, who already has her third eye open, bloody Mace Windu, who can probably just see on like a fourth eye and a fifth eye. You know, she's living
She's
in
got
like
all the
some
bloody
other
eyes,
dimension.
yeah.
She's just, you know, she's living in the deadpan dimension where you could just. You don't have to
Everything's
show any
yeah.
emotion. She's just like, oh yeah, I'll just zap open a portal for you. I'll just monitor your like soul reading by putting two fingers on your head and just being like, you know, it's insane. She could have just reached into hell herself, like, you know. But she was busy. She was cutting her hair.
She could have fixed the whole plot. She could have been like, "Oh, you're possessed," or like, "Oh, you're being haunted." All right, just let me eat some basil and tomato.
Yeah.
Boom. Done.
Because she is doing like an exorcism when they have that exorcism scene, right?
Yeah,
where she's trying to perform one. She's on the bed with her, and like, there's no subtitles for it, but she's just spitting bars trying to get this demon family out of Aaliyah. She could just do anything. So she sends them to hell, which is represented as just like a sewer network. Like they're just underground, like a weird sewer network. Where there's just lots of kind of, you know, souls, so like ghost people just kind of hanging around, some of them standing upside down on the ceiling for no reason. A lot of them just like to kind of jump scare and jump out at them, but you kind of see from their perspective, so you see that they can't see their eyes. And that's, that's the other rule, by the way. I totally forgot, I didn't even write that down. The other rule is that for Davin to be able to protect them in that hell place, because I guess he's a positive spirit or whatever, they have to all be holding hands so that they're become one, whatever. So when he's holding their hand, like the demons will kind of look at them like, and they can't see their eyes. It's kind of their eyes are like blacked out, like a sensor almost. But the only time that they kind of have, you know, like she lets go of his hand at some point, so then the ghost can all see her eyes and they're trying to grab her or whatever, because she finds Abel rather in a cage. And I was thinking, because they passed the boy at one point, the boy from the family who's going on about his choo-choo train again. So they're still in there. But they said that they'd got their unfinished business done, and then they were going to take her to hell with them. But I thought that they move on. I guess they just go to hell because they killed someone? I mean, or because they're quote-unquote evil? But why are they evil? Like, they were a family that were just murdered. Like, I don't know why, especially they're evil. But for some reason they're there. And so I figured that they were going to be going off to the nice place now that they've had their revenge and moved on. But I mean, maybe because, you know, they resolved it by taking revenge. Maybe that's why they're down there. But it kind of then had me wondering, like, why is Abel here? She's just in a cage. Like, are they not going to take her somewhere or something? Is she just going to be in this cage forever? And they kind of run down. They, you know, get her out of this cage. I think Davin, you know, big, strong, incredible, sexy Davin breaks open the lock, and then they get her out of the cage. But they're not holding hands, and so then she's like, it's a trap. And it's the gardener that set the trap, because he then tries to, like, leap out at them. But I was like, how did he predicted that Aaliyah would know how to get into hell and have somebody with her that could get her into hell to get her sister to take her back, so that's why they'd set the trap, so that he could grab her. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But he fucking fully, he's sprinting after her. Obviously they join hands again, so he's just sniffing her face and he can't see her eyes, so he just kind of leaves them alone. But he follows them as they're trying to leave, and he's just ready, like he's primed, just waiting for somebody to let go of their hands.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have like the sad ending with Davin, where they're told earlier by Windu that for some reason he can't return. Like once he goes there, he can go through a different door that leads him to the nice place, to heaven or whatever. But he can't go back into the real world, so they've got to say their goodbyes. Whatever. And the gardener is like poised. He's in the background the whole time, waiting for them to let go of the hands so that she can go back through her door. And she lets go, and she's kind of slowly walking backwards, looking at Davin, like, Davin, goodbye. Yeah. And this guy's the gardener's like bolting. He's just like, like running after her. And she just like steps back through and the door's closed, and then he like runs to the door and he's like,
It's like the classic cartoon. Like on the other side, they see the door and it's just an imprint of his face.
Imprint of his face, yeah.
But then they go back through, and it's like, I kind of forgot. Like, you kind of forget where they are, but they're still in a hospital room. And I was just like, what if a nurse just like, okay, we just got to check up on her. Like, what the fuck is going on here? She got like candles. Like, yeah. There's like smoke everywhere, and they're all holding hands. Like, what the fuck?
Ah, but our hero Davin, though. I mean, you've got like a dark. You know, the end of Dark Knight when he's like driving away on the bat cycle, and you've got Gordon's voiceover, and he's like the Dark Knight or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the way that you've got the rays of the. I guess it's not sunlight in that one, but like the rays of light kind of flowing past him as he blocks them with his cape and all this kind of stuff. You have that same thing with Davin when he's walking towards the door, and I was just all I could hear was the like, "There goes my hero." I was watching this. Oh, just watching our hero Davin just take a step towards the light. Rest in peace, soldier.
It's our hero, the Dark Davin, and then it's like bam, 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 bam.
Silent protector.
Yeah.
The watchful Davin. Oh man, and we get no rest period as well. Like as soon as they're done with that, they come back into the hospital, and then the scene ends like pretty quickly because the sister's you know, she wakes up. The scene ends like almost immediately after that, and then it's them back in the house, and then Aaliyah is in the bathroom, and then the shower turns itself on, and it's kind of a bit creepy again. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I thought we rounded it off. I thought we were getting to the end. And then you kind of have this kind of thing where they're kind of, I can't remember if they do a bit of a voiceover thing or not, but they're talking to Windu and just saying, you know, I saw 2 people in this place this week, and they're kind of talking about the people they've seen. And I honestly thought it was going to start being a thing where she was like, you know, we have to use our powers for good and hunt down all the ghosts and help them pass on in the Third Eye Detectives or something. You know, like
Third Eye 2, Detective Boogaloo.
Yeah. All gas, no brakes.
Tokyo Drift.
Oh, yeah. I just want like Davin to be their inside man, who's like reporting on the other side. They're just like, oh, we've just helped this person cross over, and he's like, yep, received these 2, Robert.
I'm hacking into the mainframe.
Yeah.
The ghost mainframe.
The ghost mainframe. Pinging their location now. Abel and Aaliyah will return in Third Eye 2.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
That's the film, really.
Yeah,
that's
the film.
It was a great experience, and I think this is the bit where we give our overall thoughts. Where I say 100% bad film, good.
Yeah,
100%. I adore this film. All its weird, kooky charms and stuff. It feels like an amateur film that was shot mostly professionally with some CG and stuff. You know,
my review is bad film, pretty good. Like, obviously there's the bad CGI
I was going to say, where's
stuff.
that on the scale? Yeah, is that
on the scale?
On the scale, is bad film pretty good above bad film good, or is it like pretty good is like elevates it a bit more because it's pretty good, or is it kind of like a?
It's a bad film. Yeah, good. Bad film. Okay. Good.
Bad film. Good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Honestly, they're like I said with the twist. Even though they kind of cheated, very good twist. Didn't see it coming. So yeah, pretty good. All right. Should we look at some reviews for this film?
Ooh, yes. Yeah. So normally, Aidan and I will. Aidan takes IMDb reviews, I take Rotten Tomatoes reviews, but this film doesn't have anything on Rotten. It has like one critic review that.
Oh really?
It wasn't fun. It wasn't funny. So
yeah,
I was like, I don't care about this. Whoever this critic is, I don't care about it. I want it funny. Yeah, Scott again. Every bad critic. You know, I wonder if Scott's written some like. Maybe we'll research Scott. We'll see if he's written like other good stuff. Like this is the one bad thing he's done, and it's what he's going to be remembered for. The one bad take he's got.
Yeah.
But why don't you kick us off with your
you want me to do
IMDb?
Mine first? Yeah.
5.5 on IMDb.
It's interesting you said like there were loads of reviews on IMDb, all very mixed. Some were saying, you know, it's not as bad as people say, like decent enough Indonesian film.
It's decent.
This one is definitely my favourite though. It's by MB Lynx 91. This was this year. This year, so very recent.
People are watching this film current year.
Yeah.
We watched it last year, so.
Yeah. 1 out of 10, this is. Oof. And it says, weaving through the many narratives through this film, I was left with one important question. How did that man get through customs without realizing he was dead? 1. He would have had to print out his boarding pass. Dead hands can't print. We've refuted that.
Oh, that has to be on a t-shirt or something.
Dead hands can't
print. That's brilliant.
It's the dead hands can't print.
Yeah, the clap emoji.
Yeah. 2. How did he not notice everyone was ignoring him when he tried to purchase his prawn mayonnaise sandwich at the airport? 3. And when the staff asked for his passport. 4. When he was on the plane, how did he manage to secure a seat? Most planes are full to the brim. Surely someone would have sat through him? 5. The trolley would surely have passed, and his request for a prawn mayonnaise sandwich would have fallen on deaf ears. Possibly the most implausible part of the film. That's my review.
He's really sticking to the prawn mayonnaise.
Yeah, that's why I picked it. Because it just keeps banging up. I think this guy just really wants a prawn mayonnaise sandwich.
He's just angry because they were sold out in Sainsbury's, and he was like, God damn it, all I wanted was a prawn mayonnaise sandwich. Yeah. Bloody
what if the ghost, what if the ghost wanted a prawn mayonnaise sandwich? What would happen?
Oh, that's good. That's good. I've got one from... So because I couldn't find any on Rotten Tomatoes, I just kind of Googled it, and I think it's just Google reviews. It just came up on the sidebar, like on Google. So it's good enough for me. And this was from a year ago, so a lot of these actually look fairly recent. There's one from like 3 days ago, 2 years ago, 9 months ago, so pretty. Yeah, okay. Wait, I mean, it's not even an old film. I don't know why I'm saying it's 2017. It came out. I don't know why I'm acting as if it's an old film. Anyway. So this is from somebody called Crezien //M.
Very nice.
Is a creative name. It says, finally, a movie about the mystical third eye. I really enjoyed this movie, and its sequel, Part 2, on Netflix. This is not paid promotion, probably.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is this an ad?
Yeah. Sequel, Part 2, on Netflix, with a tease for a third eye.
Yeah.
Not a third movie, tease for a third eye.
Third eye.
I love the theme and the fact it touches the third eye mystical dimension. Well done to the director/writer for this. Indonesian horror with English subtitles are fun.
Are fun.
I just love the way that, like, and it's sequel Part 2 on Netflix with a tease for a third eye.
Yeah. Written and directed by Rocky Sorora.
Yeah.
Starring
my dad.
Yeah. All right. Look, we've looked at some real dumb shit about the film, but do you want to talk about some real life dumb shit?
Oh, some dumb shit that's happened to real people in real lives. Some real Davins.
Real
just really getting those prawn mayonnaise sandwiches. Sneaking through airports. I mean, yeah, I can. I've got a.
Yeah, you've got one.
I've got a nice little short one that my friend was telling me the other day. So she works at a beach bar down in Devon, right? And I mean, classic beach bar, sunny day. You've got God knows how many kind of tourists and things, like, you know, within the UK, they're going out to the beach and stuff. And a lot of people are very, very lovely, very, very nice and kind, polite people.
Oh yeah,
shouting and screaming to get what they want, all that kind of stuff. You know, it's that kind of
classic
deal with a lot of stuff.
Classic
hospitality industry. It's a lot of fun. You get lots of weird requests and weird things. But it's a beach bar. I mean, they do coffee, they do all sorts of things. Somebody comes up and asks for some heated milk, because they've, you know, I mean, you know, like
warm
you
milk?
got like heated milk. So, you know, you got like the steam arm.
Of course,
like a coffee machine, whatever.
Just like warm milk. I must go to bed.
Yeah, just like temperate milk. Yeah, but they wanted some heated milk, and they were like, yeah, I mean, of course we can just heat up some milk for you if you want.
Yeah.
And she was like, Yeah, no, it's for my baby. Like I've got some. They were like, no, it's fine. We've got our own. Like we'll just heat it up now. It's fine. She was like, no, it's my milk. And they were like, what? She was like, it's my breast milk.
No!
And she was like, can you heat it for me?
Why?
And they were like, no.
Yeah, of course not.
What are you
Why?
talking? When I put the steam arm in that? What are you talking about?
Can you make a cappuccino out of my breast milk, please?
Oh, and it spawned so many great jokes with me and my friends now. Just talking about this titty froth on the top of the, where you just heat it up. And you get all that. You've got to swill it round and make sure there's no bubbles and stuff. You tap it on the side. That's how you normally. If you've worked on
make
a bar.
It milky, silky.
Yeah,
smooth.
silky smooth. Titty. Oh, awful. Absolutely awful.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Okay, that's kind of it. That's all we have, really.
That's the whole show mostly.
That's it. Yeah. So
you want to round it off?
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you liked it, if you did like it, please give us a 5-star review. I know it's a bit of a meme to say, but
if you didn't like it, then give us one. Give us a 5-star review for Davin. Just do it for Davin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 5.2 out of 10. So 5 is also bad. So just make sure you put 5, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
But it really does help boost getting more listeners and stuff. So that would really help.
Yeah, we really want to kind of make this into a regular shebang. We'll do this every week and we'll look at films and stuff like that. Speaking of which film will we do next week?
So next week we're going to do Doom, the one starring The Rock, Mr.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Who else does it have? Has somebody else? It has a couple others, like big casting, doesn't it? We'll have a look.
Is it Steve Buscemi or something? I can't remember.
Somebody else in it.
We'll see next week.
It's got some big people. Carl Urban, that's it. Carl Urban's in it.
That's it. Carl Urban.
He's close enough to Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. Yeah, they look the same.
He was in Spy Kids, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's just about everything. However, we thought we'd like to pick up everyone's day and get them inspired. So what we've done is we've looked at Inspirobot.
Which we found across the internet. What it does is it randomly generates an inspirational quote with a picture. So we've both got one here just to pick up your day. Do you want to do yours first? Yeah, I'll take the lead on this. So what we have here, I'm gonna set the scene for you here. What we have here is luscious green fields and hills. It looks like it's nice in the middle of the summer. And
very nice.
There's just some text in the very center of the screen that just says, "Cows are destroying everything." It's not really uplifting, but it's just funny.
Hey, it gets you thinking. And
it does.
I'm inspired to stop the cows, to be honest.
Yeah. Just plug up all those cows' bums with all that methane.
Just put a cork up there, you'll be fine. Just
put a bloody cork in it, you dumb cow. I don't know. What about you?
Brilliant.
Stupid.
Comedy gold.
Yeah. What's yours?
Mine's a bit more uplifting, I guess. The background is just the ocean. It's like the middle of the ocean, and in the foreground, it's the silhouette of 3 guys playing basketball. Like one's going for a layup or something, and the text just says, "Man milk, just deal with it."
I was not expecting that.
Kind of ties into the breast milk.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's frothing up man milk.
Just man milk.
It's really, it's in like big text. It just says, "Man milk, just deal with it."
Just deal with it.
It's like they've taken the premise of Nike, just do it.
Yeah. Just for man brand milk. Ah, that's great. That's uplifted me. cows are destroying everything, so we should turn to men.
Man milk.
And just milk men instead.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's a whole nother thing.
No, no.
And we'll get into it next week.
No. Yeah. In Doom.
Yeah. Oh, you bet. There's man milk in that. Trust. All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. Thanks very much, everybody. Hope you have a good week, and we will speak to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.